Hello everyone, you all are most welcome in this uh, class of social group. Here we will discuss about the social group, what is social group and what are the necessary conditions for social group, what are the requirement for social group. Is it the collection of human being or anything else, or it is relationship, or what are the necessary conditions for social group? So we start here. uh, Human needs are eternal. No person can fulfill his needs by being alone, so he doesn't want to live out of the group. The person has an integral relationship with the group from birth to death. A person stays with someone and establishes a relationship with them. When two or more people establish a relationship, there are two things. Two or more people, and one is two and more people, and other is relationship. Their collection is called group. So what are there in the group? There are a group of people and along with relationship. This is to say that the group is formed by the collection of social relationship of individuals. Every person influences each other only when social relations are established. It is already described by me that why social relationship form. The base of social relationship is influence. If someone influenced by someone, then the interaction happened, and after interaction, relationship formed. This is the base. Countless groups and subgroups are found in the society. New requirement arises in social life. New groups are created to fulfill them. The study of social group is necessary in sociology. To understand this group properly, sociological analysis is necessary. The general meaning of a group is the integration of many things, such as a group of instruments, a group of ants, etc. But in sociology, a group means human group or is from a social group. Psychologists believe that a person stays in the group only because of his basic tendency, gregarious instinct. So here we will understand the characteristics. First of all, definition of social group, meaning and definition of social group according to many eminent scientists. So here is Eqbal. Sociologists have defined social group. Some of the major definitions are being mentioned. Eqbal and Nimkov. When two or more people meet and influence each other and meet, they form a social group. Understand? This definition makes it clear that there is a group of individual and mutual relationship also found in the social group. In the word of Bierstedt, a social group is one in which people have real contact with each other and social relationship are found. So, social relationship and collection of individuals, both are important here. And the eminent scientist, according to McIver page, group refers to collection of individuals who establish social relationship with each other. Understand? So now the same thing has been told by Fischer while defining the group, wrote familiarity. Coherence is a continuous grouping of group social individual who seek social goals, social norms, social ideals, mutual exchange of interest, and fault for accomplishing common goals. On the basis of these definitions, we can say that a mere crowd of individuals cannot be called social group. Very important. Crowd of individual cannot be called social group because there would be a social relationship. It is necessary for a social group have a mutual relationship among its member. It is also necessary to have mutual exchange between them and to influence each other. Social group can be said only when there is a sense of intimacy and influencing among individuals. On the basis of our discussion, it is clear that when two or more persons establish interrelationship for common interest and influence each other, a group form which is called social group. So now on the basis of definition, we can understand characteristics of social group. Characteristics of social group. Two or more person. There are two or the first feature of a group is that it is necessary to have at least two persons. No one can build a group alone. Functional division. Each member in the group has its own position and own function. According to these rules, all members participate in the group works. Voluntary membership. This is very important. In group, there is a voluntary. Group membership is optional, not like community. Community membership is compulsory, and different type of group are found in our society. The basis of formation of this group varies. There are so many groups of individuals. Now it depends on the person which group he will accept membership. Group norms and values. There are also, each group has its own ideal and norms which control, direct the behavior of the members. Social goals. Each group has a goal which motivates some people to build themselves together, resulting in the formation of group. So without social goal, a person cannot form social group. Why we will form social group? Because of getting some goal. Common interest. The feature of common interest is also compulsory for social group. A special interest is there in association. If it is association, then it becomes a special interest. Reciprocal relation. Until the realization of mutual duties between the individual, then the relationship between them is not established. One group membership. Some kind of social relationship is definitely found. Suppose there are two friends in a group, so both have reciprocal, both have some accountability, responsibility for their friendship. A structure of the group. Each group has its own structure. That is, the group has its own fixed structure. Every person has a position, the structure, and according to that, work is also fixed. Group is an entity. A key feature of group is that it has only one entity. In front of this power, the person's power becomes secondary. Unity in a group. A sense of unity is found among the group member. In the absence of sense of unity, the group cannot achieve its goal. Greater permanency. Social groups are relatively more stable than other groups. Some groups are formed which carry out the immediate task. A close relationship between their members could not be formed. So the group is finished as soon as the work is done. There are some groups that are relatively more permanent. There is mutual relationship between their members. They help each other when it is time. They are not so unstable as to end soon. So groups are formed for some time. That is definitely some period for him. So after characteristics of group, we should understand classification of social group. Many scientists, Miller, Sumner, and MacIver Page has divided social group in many parts, and so here we will look the classification of Miller. Miller experienced social distance between people in society. He considered the basis of the distance as a status, authority, and financial prosperity. According to him, there are some groups in the society in which people belonging to different social classes are involved. On the other hand, there are some groups in which people of the same class and status are found. Hence, Miller has divided social groups in two parts. Actually, we have to pay attention that such types of groups classification also come in net examination or academic examination. Suppose you will be asked that who has classified vertical group and horizontal group, and option would be Miller, Sumner, MacIver, Bogartus. So then Miller has divided vertical and horizontal. Vertical group, so social distance is found, everyone feels some distance from each other. Vertical group means here is primary teacher, here is middle class teacher, here is high school teacher, here is degree college teacher. This is vertical. Means there are some status high and low. Status of A is high than low. Status as B is high than C. So this is vertical. Everyone feels some distance from each other. The basis of social distance is money, education, business, power. This is to say that people are divided on different group under vertical group. Horizontal group. In this, member of such group have the same position. There is no distinction between high and low. All members are equal status, have equal status or power and authority. Suppose high school teacher of Delhi, high school teacher of Mumbai, high school teacher of Dehradun, high school teacher of America, all are same, because all are, suppose professor of America, professor of England, professor of India, professor of Dehradun, all are same in status. This is horizontal. Classification by Gillen and Gillen. Gillen and Gillen also included a group with cultural characteristics in their classification. Gillen and Gillen classification of social group as the basis of blood relation, physical characteristic, regionality, sustainability, cultural characteristics, and etc. On the basis of all, they have discussed 6 types of group by Gillen and Gillen. So you should remember this. It can be asked in UGC NET even, and also in various competitive exams. Blood related groups such as family group based on physical characteristics such as same sex, race, species, and age group. Regional groups such as state, nation, tribe. Temporary group, crowd groups, and permanent groups such as rural, neighborhood, town, city. Cultural groups such as economic, religious, political, educational. These are 6 bases. So you remember: blood related, group based, regional, temporary, permanent, cultural. Classification by Lester Ward. Lester Ward also classified group into part: elective group and mandatory group, voluntary and non-voluntary, but elective and mandatory. You just remember it: voluntary group and mandatory group, as it is very clear with the name. These are the groups we achieve by our own will. We do not have any proposal for this. Membership of such group member club, political parties, member trade union, etc. This is voluntary. And mandatory, these are group whose person does not depend on the will of the person. Recruitment, such group is achieved by priority, birth. For example, membership of family, caste group, species group, it is mandatory, which a person is member of family who is a member of caste, that is compulsory, that is not voluntary. Here we will look the classification of Cooley, that is very important. Sociologist Cooley first used the term primary group in 1909 in his book Social Organization. In this, you have to remember this concept and fact come always asked in UGC NET. The concept of primary group is very important under sociology. Cooley described the basis of this group as limited size, face-to-face relationship, and close relationship. Three basic characteristics. The primary group is called the group of individuals who have direct relationship, cooperation, limited size. Later, a group with opposite character was called secondary group. Which group doesn't have the character of primary group. What are the primary group character? Limited size, face-to-face contact, and close relationship. And here is unlimited size, not indirect relation, and not close relationship. Classification by Sumner. Sumner is also very important. American sociology, Sumner divided the group into two parts, in-group and out-group. It is very important. In-group. In his book, Folkways, Sumner, a very popular book, Folkways, discuss the inner group, in-group and out-group. The in-group is the group in which we feeling among the member think that this is our own group, and their member experience mutual subordination, perseverance, loyalty, differentiation, these, cooperation and intimacy. They address themselves with the word we feeling. They have we feeling in that group. Understand? And here is out group. It is the opposite nature of in group. Under the out group, the feeling of belonging, is less than in inner group. We feeling is less. Here is I feeling. That is the outer group is the group opposite character to the in group. When one group feel alienated from another group, the other group is called the out group. Lack of sympathy of the out group is found. Lack of sympathy, lack of cooperation. And this does not mean that the in group always has conflict or war with the out group. That the in group perceive the out group as an alien. Understand? Just write it. Experience social distance with it. People relationship to member to external group, upper and formal. They are formal. So these are the basic character of out group and in group. And now we will look the classification by McIver-Page. McIver-Page have classified the group in much broader sense. In it, he has divided the social group into three major parts. Many subdivisions of these three major parts also available from this perspective. There are many types of group in the society. They all fall under some part or sub-department. The classification of driver is as follows. Regional group, consciousness group with policies that have no fixed organization, and consciousness group with fixed number of policies. Regional group. The group is the group in which all members of the group in a certain area live their normal life. Conscious group with interest have no fixed organization. Conscious group is a group with no definite organization. Their member may harm others to fulfill their right. There is similarity attitude of their members. They are conscious, but they have no organization. Understand? For example, class, species, crowd must remember. This type of group have no definite area and not any association. But conscious group with interest which have definite organization. A group conscious of interest in a group with definite organization, the interest of its member is limited. A personal relationship is found there, but in the above case that was not found. Some group of this type have limited number of members, such as family, sports group, club, etc. Apart from these, there are some group whose membership is relatively high, formal and impersonal relationship is found in them, such as state, economic, union, trade, etc. Classification by feature. Feature is also very important for exam in UGC NET as well as academic exam. Classification by feature. Feature introduces a general classification of groups which includes all type of group in society. There are 4 grounds to collective life: common ancestry, territory, shared and similar bodily character. Common ancestor. So we have to look in brief for feature. Common ancestry, and it is very much clear that the main history of social ancestry in the traditional society, whereas the modern era its importance has reduced very little. So common ancestor is very important in features definition. Feature discuss 6 types of group. So you must remember, also asked in examination: family group, educational group, and economic group. No need to discussion about it. Political group and religious group and recreational group. Nowadays, the business of this type of group is increasing, but there are also some recreational group in the society whose job is to provide entertainment to the people and expand the sense of beauty. These are the classification of. Here we will look some characteristics of primary group and difference between primary group and secondary group. If you will come to know what is primary group, already I have told you there are 3 main characteristics: close to close relationship, and intimate relationship, and direct relationship, we feeling. These are the basis of primary group. When you will come to know about the primary group, the opposite of primary group, it is secondary group. Then so it is very clear. So primary group, Cooler wrote to accept the primary group means group whose name are affectional, frontal. You already know, but I would like to see some definition. Lundberg. According to Lundberg, primary group means there are 2 or more persons who deals with each other close, equal, personal manner. According to Bierstedt, primary group refer to that of intimate, personal, direct, face-to-face group. You must write these things, no? Understand? And the same thing feature has been told. Characteristics we just see in brief. Characteristics of primary group. Just see the headline. We feeling. There are we feeling in each member. Each member of this group does not just think about itself, but each member of the group try to achieve the goal, keeping in mind everyone think about all. Relationship itself and Relationship primary group are not upper and visible. The relationship between the members is the goal of the group itself. Physical proximity. Physical proximity is the first feature of primary group. It is through physical proximity that a person-to-person relationship or direct relationship formed. A small size of the group. Primary group is a small size and secondary group is large size. A small size. Due to a small size, there is close relationship. Limited size, direct relationship, physical proximity, individual existence, and in primary group. In the primary group, the ego of the person becomes secondary. The person becomes a part of the group. A person does not think about his selfishness. So, common responsibility. In the primary group, general responsibility are found in primary group. These responsibilities do not belong to any one member, but to everyone. Everyone is the group consider it their duty to perform each task. Collective welfare is the ultimate goal of the primary group. Permanency and continuity. Permanency, there is relationship between members in primary group are of permanent nature. Common character, personal relationship that already have been described. There is personal relationship, overall relationship in primary group. And now, importance of primary group. We will look the heading of importance of primary group. In primary group, close relationship are formed between individual and many social qualities develop. Socialization of a person takes close relationship. Socialization takes place under this same conference. It is through the primary group that the person learns moralities, customs, ideals of the society. When a society is born, he is just biological animal. But when a person is born, he is just a biological animal, but gradually developed human accessible quality in the primary group. Family, neighbors, sports group, and become an active member. The importance of function of the primary group can be understood as follows. Psychological security. The primary group provides psychological protection to its member. The member of primary group interact together, exchange ideas and feeling. In such an environment, the person feels more secure. Assistant in entertainment. People of all age are entertained in primary group. Through this group, an entertainment is created in which the person is entertained well. Assistant in socialization. The primary group play the role of socialization. Every society has its own method and custom. So, helpful in development of personality. Helpful in social adjustment. Helpful in social control. These are the importance of communication of culture, transmission of culture. The introduction of cultural characteristic is done by primary group. Only in primary group the person know his religion, tradition, practice, etc. So it is transmission of culture also. Here secondary group, as mentioned earlier, that secondary group is the opposite nature of primary group. Cooley mentioned the concept of primary group and the concept developed the concept secondary group in itself. When primary group, opposite of primary group is secondary group. It's a larger group than the primary group. Its members form relation among themselves, fulfill a special interest, lack of closeness. So we will look the characteristics and about the and definition. According to Cooley, secondary group are similar groups in which there is a complete lack of intimacy. There are also lack of characteristics occur in mixed, maximal primary, virtual primary coherence, etc. In the world of Bierstedt, they are all secondary, they are not primary. The further state that the primary group is the individual, the secondary is individualized. Eqbal Nimkov. Groups that experience a lack of intimacy called secondary group. Very easy. Now we will look at the characteristics of primary group. Just remember this: limited liability. Members of group have liability, obligation. People go to complete their work together, rule and law due to honest relationship. This has not a holistic relationship or accountability. Lack of physical proximity. Lack of physical proximity is found in secondary group. They remain member of this group even after being away from each other due to the large number of secondary group members. There is less possibility of physical contact or physical proximity. Variable nature. The nature of secondary group is variable. Temporary relationship. When interest, personal advantage complete, the secondary group ends. There is no question of establishing a permanent relationship in them. Deliberate establishment. Secondary group does not develop automatically. It is established thoughtfully, and some people are unique, inspired by interest, and organize the group. Deliberate organize. Fulfillment of a special interest. An important special feature of secondary group is that it is built intentionally for fulfillment of a special interest. Competition, I feeling, as mentioned earlier. In primary group there is we feeling, but in secondary group there is I feeling. Competition spirit is not found in the member of primary group, but a sense of competition is prevail among member of secondary group. Formal relationship. Formal relationship is found in the member of secondary group. Large size. Secondary group comparison is grossly large. The number of its members is not limited. Diffusion between members. Distinction of heredity, authority and rank as found among a member of secondary group. Indirect relationship. There is indirect relationship between the member of secondary group. Its members are very large. They are spread over different areas, which make it difficult to establish direct relationship. Impersonal relationship. There is lack of personal relationship between the members. Its members are so large that they do not know each other personally. It is not necessary for their member to establish personal relationship. They have neither time nor the personal interest. Importance of secondary group. In the present era, the importance of secondary group is increasing. In the modern era, people's institutions have grown so much that in order to fulfill them, they have to organize the association, the secondary group. Keep trying in such a situation. The number of secondary group is increasing day by day, and people are beginning to feel the need. Its importance can be expressed. Helpful in social change and progress. Assistant in social control. These are the helpful in fulfillment of need and change and progress. And assistant in social control. The importance of secondary group in the field of social control also cannot be denied. Secondary groups have the power of law and punishment. Hence, it becomes mandatory to follow their rules and orders. The person who does not follow them become an occasion for punishment. In today's society, tradition, practice, stereotypes, and religion are not as important as they were before. As a result, the society used different houses to maintain its order. Police, court, law, administrative organization through the control of behavior of individual is maintained. This keeps the society under control throughout the life. These are secondary in nature. Concept of reference group. Here we will discuss about the concept of reference group and Herbert Hyman first discussed the group in his book Psychology of Status, that is status, not estates, a spelling mistake, in 1942. Subsequently, Sheriff and Kleinberg, Newcomb, Stauffer, Merton expressed their views mainly. For the creation of reference group, there are two bases: aspires and relative deprivation. You must understand. The concept was used by Hyman to refer the study of school children. The concept of reference group was mentioned in psychology by Hyman, while the credit for bringing it into the field of sociology first goes to Robert Kingsley Merton. The concept of a reference group particularly useful for us because it relates to psychology of the members. In order to understand this mental basis, we need to go some depth of the topic. We'll have to go. For this purpose, the following two types of group can be mentioned: members group, membership group, and reference group. The group which a person is actually a member and take an active part in the function of the group which he believes to be is called membership group. But also maintain its relationship with such group psychologically and include in its conduct its normative rule, values, etc., which is not actually a member of. Such group are called reference group. So we are the member of the group and we want to become the psychology, we are associated with other group and we want to become a member of that group. So that group become our reference group. Meaning and definition of reference group. The concept of reference group draws our attention mainly to the fact that some non-membership group often play an important role in human behavior and the development of its personality, which Hyman called reference group. These are called reference group because the group presents such a reference to a person on the basis of which that person not only assesses himself or her position but also evaluates the status of others. The reference group is in fact the result of higher aspiration of individual. For example, if a student prepare for IAS and want to become IAS, in some situation he is a reference group because he want to join the same group. IAS become the reference group for that person. Now we will understand some definition. According to Sheriff and Sheriff, reference groups are groups which a person belongs to him as part of group or aspires to be psychologically concerned. Person become part or psychologically concerned. So the Sheriff has said two things: establishing a relationship with a person of the membership group to ultimate group, having the desire to establish relationship with other group. Essential element of reference group. Many members of the society may consider themselves related to the same group, and there can be many reference in the same society. That is, there can be different reference group. The origin of the reference group is the result of high aspiration of the person, under whose influence the person wants him to belong to a group or assume that he has a reputation in the society. Socially, the context of a person, a group, is of a higher status than its own group. Higher status. The existence of reference group depends on the attitude of person whom he considers ideal. You must note down it, think about it. For a person, a particular group does not always remain its reference group. That is, a person who considers his group as his reference group today will continue to consider it as reference group in future. It is not the case that according to different time, situation, location, psychological and intellectual status, one person can abandon one reference group and accept another reference group. Thus, the reference group is a relative group related to the person position. Each reference, the group will also be an ideal group from the point of view of society. It is not that the group is ideal only for the person. Functional type of reference group. Merton has given this is a reference group present a context by which a person evaluates himself and build his habit. Therefore, as a part of their study, reference behavior, systematic study of the processes by which one person assimilates the value of another group. That is the construction and evaluation of attitude should find a place under reference group studies. Merton has given two major types of reference group, normal type and comparison type. The first is normal type, which set the standard ideal pattern of the individual game, which determine the standard the ideal parameter for the individual. And second is the comparison type, which provide a comparative references. Reference group behavior in relation to how the person adapts his behavior according to his reference group. Different scholars have presented their idea in different way. Here mention view of some scholars, view of Hyman's. Hyman first used reference group and said that it is not enough for us to know that he is a member of a group. Here you can understand easily, and you can write it after discussion related the behavior pattern and its status. What is the real situation of that person? But it is also necessary for us to know what that person is psychologically. Views of sheriff and sheriff. In explaining group behavior, sheriff and sheriff have written that when one person's motivation are similar to those of other individual, and that group is formed to a group structure that is an integral part of the other. When interacting with the people at their stage, he also adopts the values, ideal, norm, ideologies, etc. of that group, because that group in his own group and ideal and values of that group are his own ideal become ideals and values. That is, with the thought, ideal, values and behavior of a group, a person establish new equation of his own. Each person has his own group. These are the, you can pause and you can understand the sheriff, what sheriff want to say. And this is the views of Kleinberg. Group can also be imaginary. Kleinberg told group can be imaginary when we behave in a way that we consider to be similar to the behavior of the best people. So it is imaginary group. Then we believe that in relation to the behavior of the best people, anything no is not at real, but it is imaginary. And you can understand view of Newcomb. Newcomb said the group in positive group and negative group. There are some group who want to become a member of the group, and there are some group which we don't want to become member of that group, that is negative group. And view of Merton. Merton actually credit of conducting the first scientific analysis of reference group in the field of sociology goes to American sociologist R.K. Merton in work called The American Soldier. Robert Kingsley Merton have tried to explain concept of reference group in the context of relative deprivation. You must understand relative deprivation. When a person deprived with one group and want to become other member of other group, that is relative deprivation. There are some uh, Merton tried to explain his ideas related to reference group in this way. Multiple reference. There are multiple reference group of a person. Conflicting reference group. Mutually sustaining reference group. Second significant others. Conformity and non-conformity. You must understand this by reading. And function and dysfunction of reference group. There are some reference group that is functional and there are some group that is dysfunctional. And those who are qualified, skilled and capable for moving forward, those who suffer from a feeling of relative deprivation, consequence of reference group, normative comparative reference group. There are types of positive and negative reference group. NICOM has been divided, real and unreal reference group, Johnson, and selection of a reference group, reference person or reference group. And Merton has presented a list of facts that influence the selection of reference group. We must understand it. Clear or unclear social definition or rules for membership of group, the amount of involvement of members in a group, actual duration of membership in the group, expected duration of membership in the group, expected duration of group survival, the actual period of existence of the group, open or closed nature of group, relative size of a group, its forming organs, ratio of real and important members, the absolute size of group, the quantification of social discrimination, shape and height, types and quantities of social unity. These are the factors we should think about it. You can write with this way your answer, and there are also some group unity, nature of group, social relationship, social interactions within group, limit of relative homogeneity to normative rule of group, system of idealized control, volume of evaluation of group, ecological structure of group, autonomy of the group, the amount of durability of group, the amount of durability of group, method of establishing stability of group, relative social status of group, relative power of functional aspect of reference group. Reference group to our anticipatory socialization, you must understand it. First we socialize anticipatory, then we become reference. Marginal man, this is very important concept. The person is neither a reference, a group, not his group. In such situation, the person does not feel like working even in his group. Further Veblen's view you can understand by reading this. These are the groups. So we have discussed in details about the group, and I think you have understood, and you can pause and you can read, understand it easily. Thank you. All the best.